Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well today. Check out this chord progression. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you this bass line, break it down, analyze it a bit. And along the way, I'll show you what key we're in, the arpeggios that you can use over each chord, and the scale and mode choices. Don't worry, it's not going to get too crazy. I'll break it down really, really simply for you. This is going to help you come up with your own bass lines, improvise, jam, and very importantly, when you're listening to bass lines, you need to, your favorite bass lines, you need to analyze them, really get under the skin of them so you can take forward the ideas. So let's take the first two bars. We're playing B, F sharp and A, and those two fretted notes are on the second fret. And I'm just using my first finger. I'm actually just rolling. I'm using the tip of the fingertip for the F sharp and then sort of rolling down to get that B, or more specifically starting on the B where that crease is and just rolling down to get the F sharp. The A is being muted in the act of coming down and fretting the F sharp. Now the BM, that stands for B minor, and that's the key of the piece of music that we're in now, B minor. That's the scale, B natural minor. One of the ones that as a bass player you really need to know, say major, natural minor, they're very, very common, so absolutely learn that. What it means to be in the key of something is that these notes are central to this entire bass line. We're actually using notes from the chord. That's called an arpeggio, and it's just where you play the first, the third, the fifth, and in this case the seventh as well, of the scale. If you know a scale really, really well, and again I really do emphasize the point, learn this pattern and shape as well as you can. Memorize it. What it means to be in this key, by the way, you see those two sharps there? F and C sharp. A scale is where you go, in this case, from B to B, but you include whatever sharps are in the key signature. So B, C sharp, D, and then E, F sharp, G, and then A, B. Notice how you're going up the musical alphabet, but inserting the sharps. That's what this means. That's the key we're in. If you just take the first, third, fifth, and seventh of those notes, you get a B minor 7 arpeggio. You need to know it ascending and descending. And you can see here that the B, the F sharp, and the A, they're all notes. They're all chord tones that belong to that arpeggio. So in terms of notes to use in bass lines, they're very important. And if you can think of marrying these notes to a rhythm, that's really what this whole bass line is about. Listen. See how the actual rhythm of the line is the same, but the notes are changing. Let's move to that G. So here I'm going G, 3rd fret, E string. The arpeggio that fits in this case is a G major 7 arpeggio. It just says G there. G with nothing after it just means a G major chord. But we're in the key of B minor, and we have these sharps here, the F sharp and the C sharp. So just going from G to G, but putting those sharps in, you get this. G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. It looks exactly like a major scale, but it's got a sharpened 4th in there. I'm not going to get too much into this, but this is technically a mode. It's where you get the notes from a key and start on a different note of the scale, like this one, G to G, but using the original scale's key. We get a G Lydian in this case. And so those notes belong to the arpeggio that you get from this. So what was an arpeggio? 1, 3, 5, 7. G, B, D, F sharp. And the notes from the line are your root, your 5. Sorry, it goes root octave. Then it goes major 7th, and then 5. So when I'm writing this bass line, I mean, even if I'm in a rehearsal or something like that, and or a gig, and someone's playing this chord, and I can hear it like this, I know that these notes will fit. Okay. Now there at the end, G, A, B, G, F sharp. I could use any of the notes from this key as a sort of melodic device. Let me go from the 3rd bar. Listen to this. I just ran down the notes of that G Lydian mode. I'm not thinking G Lydian. In fact, a little shortcut for you is to not think that at all. Just learn the original scale really well. You know, the key of this, B natural minor. And you could think, okay, I'm just going to play those notes, but just start on a G. It's exactly the same. So it doesn't matter which way round you think about this, you're still playing the correct notes. You can download the backing track and the PDF for free, by the way, and I suggest you do that to practice this. Let's move on. We've got E minor next. Very, very simple notes here. Root, octave. You need to know the arpeggio note. So even though it says EM, that's E minor, I've got an E minor 7. I really know those notes, so just using those in the groove. At the end there, you've got this almost the same line as in the 3rd bar. Then we've got A. So that's the line I wrote, and I wrote that for you just to have something to play. But let's ignore the notes now, and we'll just look at the chord symbols and just something to practice. Let's strip things back a little bit and pretend that we're not playing a bass line. We'll just play the arpeggios. And I like the 7th in there, so let's go from the beginning. Okay, that's your B minor 7 arpeggio, just going up for 2 bars worth of that. Then go to G. That sounds quite musical, doesn't it? Now it did sound like an exercise, and I am treating it as such. So you've got B minor 7, G major 7, E minor 7, G major 7, and A7. These are the chords that you get when you harmonize a B minor scale. I've got 2 videos that go into this a bit deeper, so I'm going to link to that below if you want to get more into that. In fact, I really do suggest that you do, because, pun intended, it is kind of the key to music, because when you listen to lots of bass lines that you like, you find that they're falling into this sort of set of rules. Now, music doesn't work this way. You've got your note selection, and that's great, but it's your tone, it's your feel, it's what you do to those notes that make up an interesting bass line. But note selection is important, and if you do understand that theory and you use it to work on your ear, it's going to really help you. So we ran through some arpeggios just now. What about some scale notes? Let's not think about this too much. I'm just going to play something a little similar to what I did before, and I'll explain it. I stuck to the groove, which is da 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 da. Lots of offbeats. That's just what I was sticking to then. You can do anything you like. You can do 8th notes, 16th notes, whatever. But what I did there in every case, so starting on the B, I played the root note, so B, and I just walked up the first 3 notes of the scale. So B, C sharp, D. All you need to remember in this particular example is that either your pattern, or probably more importantly, that your key signature tells you that the notes C and F need to be sharpened and everything else is not. So we've got B, C sharp, D. So I restricted myself just to those 3 notes for this little example I'm giving you now. I quite like doing that, by the way. Just, you know, start with arpeggios. Let's do 3 notes now. Let's do octaves. Just restricting yourself in practice so that you can get a better handle on it. G. So we've got now G, A, B. E minor now. E, F sharp, G. These, I'm just running up the notes of the scale, sticking to this key. G, A, B again. I went to G, so I can now move to A, and it's going to be A, B, C sharp. Okay, let's restrict a bit more. Let's do root, octave, and whatever the 7th is. So for minor, it's going to be minor 7th. For the A at the end, it's going to be a flat 7 as well. And for the G, it's going to be a major 7. Let me play it. Just at the end there, we've got an A and an A, that's your octave. And if you want to find your 7th, whatever key you're in, so A is 8, so you just need to go sort of backwards down the alphabet, thinking about what key you're in. So that's G. Remember, the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then it starts all over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Know your alphabet the other direction as well, so you can do this easily. So it's a G. There are really hundreds of bass lines that you could make up in lots and lots of different styles using this. Let's use a little combination now. Let's go. All I did there was root, octave, hammer on from the 7th to the 8th, the octave, and then that 3 notes of the scale. Now, when I'm breaking this down and analysing it, I have to tell you what I'm doing, and it sounds a bit clunky when you do that. But rest assured, and this will happen with you as well, when I'm playing this, I'm not thinking about it at all, because these patterns are familiar, and the sounds that the patterns make are also familiar. Above all, it's really about listening to your favourite bass lines and then analysing them. You know, you could, if you think about like a Jamiroquai style bass line, you know, something like that, I don't know. So that's just, it's the arpeggio getting rid of the 7th, you know, it's just a root, 3rd, 5 octave. And then you've got articulations, note choice, attitude, things like this, sort of slightly intangible musical devices that you're using to take the notes and transform them into a bass line. Now, whether you make up a Jamiroquai bass line or you listen to a Jamiroquai bass line and figure it out, the notes that we're using are nearly always the same. It really is the techniques and the way you play and the tone and, you know, whether you slap or what, you know, whatever, that's where the magic happens, what you put in to the bass line. So just have a load of fun with this, you know, make sure you download those 2 things. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.